Do you think they'll ever change the Diamond Lounge perks if there becomes too many Diamond and above members? It's a really good question. I don't know what they're going to do with this. This is an ongoing thing. I'm going to say this right now. This is going to be sort of controversial, but I'm going to say it. The Diamond Lounge is completely overrated. I never go in there. I thought even from day, ever since I became Diamond, I thought I don't know why people would go in there, especially now that we get 4, 5, or 6 free drinks, and we can get them anywhere else. The only reason people went to the Diamond, not the only reason, a very compelling reason to have gone to the Diamond Lounge, or now they're called the Crown Lounge, in the old days was because there were unlimited drinks in that lounge. That I understand. But now that's not the case. So why would I want to, I don't understand what the appeal is. I guess it's like, oh, it's a socialization factor, Matt. I want to hang out with other like people that cruise a lot. Okay, I guess. But first of all, there's no one in there except for in the evening hours. And even then, just I would much rather be somewhere else. So I don't think they're going to add another tier. I don't think they're going to keep people out of the status. They're just going to keep adding these little limitations in there to tweak it. But dude, I'll be honest. I mean, listen, the people who disagree with me, and that's okay. I'm not here to tell you what you should think or not. I'm here to tell you that I personally could not care less about the Crown Lounge. It's just a place that I always go to just to say I went there and I sit there and I'm bored. There's no entertainment, like a musician or something else happening. It's a little stuffy for my taste. The best thing about the Diamond Lounge is really the fact they have that coffee maker, which is really nice. And that's fine. That's just a quick stop in the morning. So anyway, yeah, I probably just offended a lot of people there. So we'll keep moving on. What would be the best ship to go out of Galveston? My family has never cruised before, and I've only been on one. I'm not sure when you're looking to go, but I would definitely pick an Oasis class ship like Harmony of the Seas, which is there right now. That's the ship I would pick for a first-time cruiser, Harmony. I'm not sure exactly what ship is there like a year from now or 2 years from now, but that's what I would look for. An Oasis class ship out of Galveston would be a fantastic choice for a first-time cruiser. If you don't go to the main dining room for dinner, do you have to let them know? No. It'd be courteous. Like when we were on Serenade of the Seas, I went to the main dining room on day 1, but I knew that I wasn't going to be there on day 2 because I had booked a reservation at Giovanni's. So I let my waiter know, hey, by the way, we won't be here tomorrow. Just a heads up. It really doesn't matter. They're going to get the hint when you're not there, but you don't have to let them know. You don't have to inform them in advance or anything like that. So any major differences between Harmony and Oasis or must use on Harmony? Thanks for all your advice. When it comes to the Oasis class ships, the primary differences between like Harmony and Oasis is going to be entertainment, the shows that are on board, some of the restaurants, and of course the artwork. That'll be the most noticeable things, right? So you'll have different shows, like Cats is the Broadway musical on Oasis, whereas Harmony has Grease. So that's a big difference. Other differences are the shows in the main theater, and the Aqua Theater. There'll be different shows as well. So the entertainment is probably the most noticeable difference there. And then, of course, especially restaurants, right? Where there might be one, like Harmony still has Sabor, whereas Oasis has Playmakers, and so forth and so on. Other than that, they're more similar than not, if that makes sense. Did you enjoy the New England cruise? What was your favorite part of Maine? Thanks for all that you do. Dude, I love the cruise, and I loved Maine even more. Well, I posted an article at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com today about things that surprised me about my cruise. And I got to tell you, I fell in love with Maine. Bar Harbor, I know this is a real shock, is a beautiful place. It was incredible. I was not prepared for how much I would like Maine. I thought it'd be like, okay, cool. But I really liked Maine a lot more than I thought I would. And so we had a great time. So I got to say, Bar Harbor is my favorite. It's absolutely beautiful little town. Acadia National Park was fantastic. I could, like, if I could afford one of those mansions over there, I would love to live there. Let's just put it that way. Or at least have a summer home over there. Drink package. Buy online or on board for the best price. Buy it online before the cruise for the best price. In fact, paying for the drink package on board will cost you the most money. Never do that. Always prepay. Better yet, buy it now, lock in the price, and keep an eye on the price, Billy, because if the price goes down between now and your sail date, you can cancel and rebook the drink package with no penalty and take advantage of the lower price. It's pretty easy. But how hard is it to get seating for 2 in the main dining room? It's actually pretty easy. Just email about 2 or 3 weeks before your cruise, RCL Dining at rccl.com. RCL Dining at rccl.com. Let them know your sail date, ship you're on, your last name, and which dining rotation you're in. Early seating, you're in late seating. You want to seat by yourself. Mary, if you're in my time dining, you don't need to do any of this. You just show up to my time dining and tell them, "I'd like a table for two, please." I saw you recommend separating the beds in the room for more space, but have you ever tried making them the bunk beds? There'd be so much more room for your activities. It doesn't work that way. These aren't like dorm rooms. Yeah, I remember like in college, people would do that where you could take the beds and stack them. You can't do that. There are things like Pullman beds. That's where you have the two beds on the bottom on the ground, and then you have beds that drop down either from the ceiling or from the wall. But that's not what you're talking about here. It does. The beds don't stack in the way that you're describing. Not to mention, I can't even imagine that you'd be able to lift it or maneuver it in that way. So, I live in California. Is it worth it to fly to Florida for more cruise options when Navigator is here? Navigator's kind of old, and I have cruise on it already. It's a great question. Brian Wall's in our chat, and Brian lives in California as well and cruises out of there a lot. I would say it is worthwhile. No matter what ship it is, you've only got one ship. I don't care if it's Wonder or if it's Navigator or if it's Enchantment. When you only have one ship doing, I know she does technically 3 itineraries, but it's the same difference, right? You're either going to Ensenada or you're going longer in Mexico, but you can only do so much of that thing at a time. So I think it really is worthwhile. I think it really is worth it to fly out there. Maybe not all the time, but to work it and to mix it up. Like as an example, Verified. I live in Florida, right? So I got cruise ships all around me. And I really felt compelled to go up to Boston, take a cruise out of there because I wanted something different. I wanted to change it up and have a new itinerary. So yes, absolutely worthwhile mixing it up right there. What ship has the best adventure ocean in your kids' opinion? Ooh, my kids like any ship that has the new adventure ocean. They like, so that's on Wonder of the Seas or Oasis of the Seas, Navigator of the Seas, Odyssey of the Seas. The reason why, so that when Royal Caribbean started like upgrading its adventure ocean facilities with Navigator first, then Oasis and some newer ships. Anyway, the difference is with the new adventure ocean, it allows kids, it's like they're like stations, right? And the kids have more of a choice of what they can do. There's games that are being held, there's an art center, there's a reading area, video games. So depending on what they want to do, what they're feeling like, they have more choice in it, as opposed to the old adventure ocean in which they only did like one thing at a time. And so as my kids have gotten a little bit older, I think they like that setup there. So yeah. What are the highlights of your Canada cruise? Bar Harbor was absolutely beautiful. We did a boat tour of Portland Harbor, and that was fantastic. Like we had perfect weather in Portland, so we took a boat tour there. That was amazing. In Sydney, we did a Royal Caribbean pub crawl. Took us 3 different pubs. One of them was actually a cidery, and they showed us how they made cider. That was a really fun tour. Becky Menken was there. I can't say what ensued, but Becky had a nice time, and we all did as well. And then, of course, I would be remiss, Lauren, if I didn't talk about going to Tim Hortons and getting my beloved iced coffee. True story. We docked. Sydney was our first stop. Sydney, Nova Scotia. First stop. We docked at 7 a.m. Our pub crawl was, we had to report at like 9 or 10. I forget exactly when. I got off the ship, walked half mile into town to get my Tim Hortons, got a cup of coffee, iced coffee, got Timbits, went back to the ship and ate it in the Windjammer, and then went back to my excursion later on. It was the best decision ever. I really liked it quite a bit. The weather was great, but truly the ports, Acadia National Park was just phenomenal. Really, really, really liked it quite a bit. And what's the best spot on Liberty to watch sail away? Definitely the bow of the ship, the helicopter pad. Go to deck 4, walk all the way forward. It's a great spot. A lot of people like going up to the top of the pool deck because you're going under the Verrazano Bridge because you want to see as close as possible. Trust me, the helipad is where to go. Just make sure that you BYOB because there's no bars down there. But yeah, it's a great spot. Why does Royal Caribbean not sail from or to San Francisco? It's a great question. I'm not entirely sure, quite frankly. There's a lot of reasons why cruise ships or cruise lines go out of one port or another. Like I know Princess does a lot out of San Francisco. Maybe they like own all the slots there because Princess has a really big West Coast presence compared to Royal Caribbean, certainly. And whereas the opposite is true on the East Coast. But their costs, itineraries, a big factor, honestly, Dream Vacay is the US. Oh my God, this is how you know I've been on a cruise too long. I can't think of the PVSA, Passenger Vessel and Services Act, which requires cruise ships that are foreign flagged, which Royal Caribbeans are, and so is Princesses, to, if they start in a U.S. port, to go visit a foreign port. So logistically, it's difficult for San Francisco because it's pretty much far away from the next closest foreign port, whereas it's easier to offer cruises out of L.A. or Seattle to accomplish that. Is it possible to buy the internet by the day rather than the whole trip? Yes. Once you're on board the ship, there will be an option for a full 24-hour pass that you can do, and you can do that as many times as you want. But keep in mind that the rate is going to be more per day than a full pass. So if you're doing for one day of the cruise, that's fine, no problem at all. But if you do like 3 days of a 7-day cruise, the unlimited package might be right around the same price or so. So keep that in mind. Last I checked, the 24-hour pass was $29.99 for the 24 hours for one device. I might be wrong. I don't know if it's changed recently. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Really appreciate each and every one of you being here. We'll be live again next Monday, right here from our studio. Until then, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe out there. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon, right here on YouTube. Bye, everybody.